Alright, now this is what the fuck I'm talking about. You know, Jason Statham doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion, for being one of the most, if not the most versatile of the Western modern action stars. He can do big budget, low budget, period movies, sci-fi, contemporary, comedy, grounded over the top, dark, dramatic focus, tongue-in-cheek, bordering on self-parody, martial arts, choreography, complex, messy, knock-around stuff, gunfights, disaster, you know, run away from the fireball stunts, foot chases, espionage, and it always looks like he's where he belongs. I mean, if every movie became one big cinematic universe, not that I'm recommending anyone do that, he'd probably be the only guy who'd have no trouble because he's the only hero who could walk from like the set of a Marvel movie to John Wick to Fast and the Furious to Christopher Nolan mindfuck movie, Guy Ritchie movie to, I don't know, like a Coen Brothers movie, a Melissa McCarthy comedy, a wizard movie, a zombie movie, a baseball movie, Shakespeare movie, whatever, and seemed like he'd been there the whole time. I mean, don't believe me, only some of those were things he's actually done, but I bet you're going to have to go check a couple. Here he's teamed up with David Ayer, a director and screenwriter who's got kind of the opposite problem of being pigeonholed by his own recurring sensibilities as a would-be auteur and the fact that he's one of the many filmmakers of recent who's in need of some reputational rebuild since his last most recent project was the dumpster fire of the DC Extended Universe and the dumpster fire of working with Shia LaBeouf. The solution, apparently, was to do someone else's script, in this case Kurt Wimmer. The result might be Ayer's best movie ever, or at least since Fury, and Statham's best in a decade easy. Make no mistake, The Beekeeper simply kicks ass. In our story, Statham is literally a beekeeper. His kindly older landlady is scammed by a phishing scheme that depletes her savings so completely that she ends up so distraught that she straight up kills herself, which makes Jason Statham the beekeeper mad, so he resolves to beat up the internet in an act of revenge. That's literally it. He finds the phishing scammers and he kills the shit out of them. He finds the bank that was bankrolling them. He kills the shit out of those guys. He finds the politicians they're connected to. He kills the shit out of some more guys. He just kind of keeps killing his way further and further up the chain. It's that kind of movie. As it turns out, you see, beekeeper isn't only his profession, it's also his former profession, a code name for an off-the-books government mercenary agency that organizes itself along an elaborately tortured allegory for the hierarchical organizing society of a beehive, which feels like it might have been a rewrite. It's unclear if the other beekeepers are also literally beekeeping hobbyists and fixated on actual bee science like he is, since there's also like a detective story B-plot playing coy with the possibility that Statham's character might be literally insane, or at least just overly righteous enough that the film doesn't really dwell too hard on, though it's admirable that it gestures at that complexity at all, i.e. this guy's right, but is this the right way? Is he completely out of his mind, even though he's the good guy? But it is still a righteous fantasy that's just a little bit smarter than it needs to be, even while it's pulling no punches, not pretending to be anything that it's not. Statham has been clearly the 21st century Charles Bronson for a while, and this is very much a movie aiming to do for cybercrime, specifically aimed at the elderly what Death Wish did for street crime, hitting the cultural zeitgeist of prospective victim paranoia and tripling down for a big old revenge fantasy, throwing up on screen the absolute nightmare scenario of boomer and Gen X predatory tech paranoia as embodied by the darkest and most hateable archetypes of big tech and money guys, all lined up for the beekeeper to punch and kick and stab and burn the shit out of for the sake of audience catharsis. I mean, I didn't need a movie to tell me that I wanted to see a tech bro get tortured to death while begging for his life and trying to buy his way out of it with NFTs, but I'm glad I saw it all the same. But it's also exactly smarter about this premise than it needs to be, in the sense that morality being simple, these are the bad guys and they deserve to get beekeepered to death, doesn't mean that the structure or characters or even the very general gestures it makes in the direction of topicality in politics need to be simple or even stupid. I mean, yeah, it detests young men in the tech sector to a degree that would be considered a hate crime if directed at any other group, but have you met the real thing? Because I have. The whole "this goes higher than you'd think" plus the somewhat tortured beehive metaphors ends up meaning, yes, there's a twist that goes nowhere near the surprise the movie thinks it is, but it also zigs when it could have zagged once it gets there, so I respect that. Unlike other movies in the genre, it opts to have fun with how many moving parts the espionage action material has, where there's multiple interesting parties competing to stop the hero at different levels between the cops, the feds, private security, very private security, the actual people he's trying to kill, and instead of just descending into just kill everyone, it builds interesting narratives around who he's after, who he's fighting, who he's trying to wound, this is when he's not trying to hurt someone, etc. And Statham's a good enough actor that he sells the what's going through my head right now moment to moment, and I also like how multiple times it feels like we're going to get the tiresome, here's the colorful odd job type gimmick henchman who's going to be the main nemesis and the movie's going to slow down so we can have special gimmick fight sequences, and then nope, we're not doing that. We've committed to this guy is unstoppable and we're going to see it through. This is excellent, fucking great action stuff. I loved it. It's just a solid, kick-ass movie. It's going to be very hard for any movie to top being a better, solid action movie this year. Go see it, check it out. 9 out of 10 for The Beekeeper. Yes, I said it.